Welcome to another video from the Outdoor Analyst. Hey, I've got a fun one for you today. Got a few questions coming in about what do you really take when you're out field dressing and hunting, and what sort of items do you need? I mean, do I need to drop $300? Do I need to spend $50? Those are kind of the questions that I've been getting, and the fact is you really don't need that much. When it comes to gear, you don't really have to go all out. Now, I find that I really enjoy using a nice blade minute for it. For me, I really love the Benchmade Steep Country here. This thing is fantastic at just zipping through deer really fast. And in the Midwest, that's all it is, just whitetails basically. There's really nothing else around that's worth going after. And just a little 3-inch blade. This has a gut hook if you ever think you need it or you're losing your dexterity and you don't want to get into the guts. That's a fantastic little knife. And that's all you need is just a little knife. Not big, nothing major. The smaller the better. It's all about control and just getting in there. And then any sort of saw. This year I took a freaking Fiskars with me. This thing is just like $10 at any sort of regular store. And it worked. It worked great. Went right through bones like nothing. And I take a pair of gloves. Actually, I usually have like 2 or 3 sets of gloves. Every now and then you get a hole or a tear in them. It's just nice not to have blood everywhere. You don't have to carry and touch everything that's going back out. And to be completely honest with you, if you're in the Midwest and you're just doing the deer drag and you're taking it back to your truck or whatever you're putting it in, that's it. That's really all you need are those 3 things. Now, I do take backups with me in the field just in case something happens, you lose something, you drop it out in the middle of the woods while you're field dressing and you don't find it. That happens all the time to people. So I usually try to keep some spares around. And for me, like this year, main kit right there, my backup knife was just a Bark River Bushcrafter. I thought this would be great. It'll do the job really well. Fantastic backup. Backup saw was actually just a Leatherman. I have used this before on deer, and this is the old school super tool, and saw's it's a little bent out of shape. Might have been the last deer I did. This thing just ripped right through them. It did a fantastic job, and it's just a good backup tool to have just in case. And you also have another, a blade or 2 left on there as well, so it's kind of like a double and triple backup in a manner of speaking. Gloves, I don't know what you can really back up with. I take 2 or 3 sets. That's really it. In my backpack, I will usually have a couple different sets. I'm getting a little cold. I need my dexterity. I'll bring some Outdoor Research liners just to kind of warm back up. Usually that's before and or after. And if I'm doing some sort of crazy deer drag, there's just nuts and I don't know, there's just like brambles and bushes and just crazy trees you have to drag over. I might pull out some leather gloves. I think these are Kevlar and leather. They do a really good job. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'll throw an IFAK in the backpack. That's just for worst case scenario, some other hunter out there, you get a shot from 600 yards away. Nice to have at least something to maybe patch yourself up. And this year I did carry a little sharpener. There's definitely no reason I would ever need this out there, but worst case scenario, something ridiculous happens. This is a little Benchmade Work Sharp. This thing's awesome. This was a gift from my brother-in-law. Really cool little thing. Thing weighs like 2 ounces. Throw it in your pocket, throw it in the bag, you're good to go. And really, you can just substitute anything in there. I'll usually have a little folder on me. For some reason, I've really just stuck with taking the Benchmade Griptilian hunting with me. I've always thought if this was a kind of the worst case, I was going to need a folder for a blade. This would do really well. I have no issues field dressing with this sucker. Because the fact is, it's not really that intense. You're gutting for 5 minutes, cutting through deer, a couple minutes of cutting through bone, and that's really it. It's not an intense sort of thing. It's not a big deal. I do like having a nice blade to go with me, so it's easy and quick. Make sure everything's sharp ahead of time. I have gone out before with a dull blade. It had a dull tip, and it was really annoying, but guess what? At that point, I had a nice backup. I think it was this little pupper. Yeah, I had a nice little Falkneven S1, and it worked really well. Now, I will say this, don't go for a giant knife. I would not technically go for a 5-inch blade again. After doing several deer with this thing, I really missed a small, easily controllable blade. This is so much faster, and you have a lot more control over that versus this. Did this work great? This worked just fine. No issues. People have been doing it with 5-inch blades for forever, but the fact is you don't need a big knife. Never get talked into it. I'd say the smaller the better, because you're not doing anything massive at any point in time. Even if you're quartering out, you're not doing anything crazy that you can't do with something like this. Next year, I think my backup's probably going to be this little SE3. This is an S35VN. Really cool knife. Very, very controllable. It's terrible for bushcraft, but darn it, it wasn't meant for that. I think it'll do fantastic as a little field dresser. So, and it's super thin profile. Chuck it in the backpack. You never know it's there till you need it. So, that's it. If you wanted to go really inexpensive on it, you can do this probably for $60, and you'd be good for years. Just, what's this? This is a Buck 103. I've had this for a very long time. Pick one of these up for like under $50. Pick up a $10 saw. I think you can probably get these for like $8 at a hardware store. Grab some gloves and you're good to go. I mean, that is literally all you actually need. So don't take it too seriously. If you're really worried, if you're worried about having a gut hook or not, you can go out and buy like one of these Ontario. I think these are technically like boot cutters and shoe cutters or whatnot. You can buy one of these, or a Gerber, or even Benchmade makes these things. They're like $10-15 now. You can just pick them up at an old Army surplus store or something. These are not expensive. They're really easy to just, I've zipped up deer with this before. If you're really worried about dexterity and getting into those guts, that's an easy way to take care of it without having to worry about cutting anything and dealing with those smells and contaminating meat. So really, that's about all I've got for you today. It's a super simple setup. You just need 3 things. You can even do it without a saw. I've done that. Do it without a gut hook. I usually do it without one now. But really, this is all you actually need. This just makes it so much more easy if you just go through the bones, and you don't have to worry about getting through areas that are not so fun with parts of the animal that you really don't want to be touching or contaminating anything else with. So that's it. That's all I got for you today. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you on the next one.